First on our news this afternoon is a report that President Muhammadu Buhari has again reiterated his administration's commitment to consolidating the nation's democracy, saying Nigeria is working towards conducting free, fair, and credible elections in 2023. Buhari stated this in Liberia as he joined other world leaders to attend the 175th independence anniversary of the West African nation. The Nigerian leader called on his West African colleagues to do all within their powers to ensure the elections are conducted in their countries in an atmosphere of trust, freedom, and transparency, as this is the only way the sub-region can be insulated from the scourge of unconstitutional takeovers that has reared its head in 3 countries recently. Buhari commended his Liberian counterpart, Dr. George Weah, for his demonstration of love for the country and the pursuance of peace, unity, and progress as evidenced by the people-oriented projects executed with the sole purpose of taking the country to greater heights within the limited resources available. While urging the Liberian leader to do more, he assured him of Nigeria's continued support. The president of Liberia, Dr. George Weah, in response, thanked President Buhari and other African leaders for their attendance and support. In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has urged the Senate to screen and confirm 19 nominees for the appointment as resident electoral commissioners (REC) of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). Senate President Lawan read the President's letter of request at plenary, noting that the President's request was in accordance with the provisions of Section 104, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. He explained that 5 of the nominated recs are for renewal of appointments, while the other 14 are fresh engagements. President Buhari also urged the Senate to confirm Justice Olukayode Ariwoola for appointment as the substantive Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN. In another development, the federal government has declared that there are no immediate solutions to the crisis currently rocking Nigeria's aviation sector, as the cost of the major challenge in the industry is a global issue. Recall that domestic airlines in Nigeria have been faced with a stiff challenge posed by the hike in the price of aviation fuel, popularly called Jetta One. This has also warranted an increase in airfares by the airlines that could manage to get the commodity, while others could not survive the situation, have temporarily suspended operations. The President's Airline Operation of Nigeria, AON, Abdul Munifa Sarina, said the aviation fuel crisis began from 108 naira per litre, but now jumped to 1,000 naira per litre, adding that accessing forex crisis was a huge burden on the industry. Reacting to the crisis in the sector at a meeting with officials of the Airline Operators of Nigeria, AON, in Abuja, the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, stated that government was aware of the challenges but noted that there was no immediate solution to the concerns. The minister said he would meet with relevant stakeholders, including the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, so that the airlines could access forex at the official rate rather than at the black market price. And now to news from the legislature, where the House of Representatives has passed for second reading a bill seeking to amend Section 11 of the Central Bank of Nigeria CBN Act to ban holders of the office of governor or deputy governor of the bank from participating in partisan politics. When passed into law and assented to by the President, the amendment will ensure that future governors of the nation's apex bank resign their position when they become members of political parties or participate in partisan politics. Leading the debate on the bill, Sada Soli APC Castina said the bill was not targeted at any particular individual, but aimed at protecting the image and integrity of the CBN. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has extended the scope of its investigation of payments for subsidy on premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, to the last administration led by President Goodluck Jonathan. Recall that the House had on June 29, 2022, resolved to investigate payments for subsidy on petroleum products, especially petrol, that fell under the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, had set up an ad hoc committee to investigate the Petroleum Product Subsidy Administration from 2017 to 2021, which was mandated to report back to the House within 8 weeks for further legislative action. At the plenary, Chairman of the House Committee on Rules and Business, Abubakar Fuluta, moved a motion to call for an extension of the probe since Jonathan was president till 2015 when Buhari became president. In the meantime, the House of Representatives has asked the Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs to embrace and adopt the report of Silencing the Guns project to silence illegal acquisition of weapons in Africa. The House also expressed concerns that SIM cards hitherto barred in the country remain functional across Nigerian borders, especially in neighboring countries, asking the National Communications Commission, NCC, and telecom operators to ensure that once SIM cards are barred in the country, they cannot be used in any other part of the world. Adopting a motion on notice brought by Ahmed Muni, APC Kaduna, the House also asked relevant ministries, departments, and agencies, MDAs, to key into the roadmap, urging the Office of the National Security Advisor to fully adopt the report and pass it down to other relevant security agencies. And moving away from that, members of the People's Democratic Party, PDP's Senate caucus, have met with President Muhammadu Buhari and vice presidential candidates Atiku Abubakar and Governor Ifeanyi Okowa as part of efforts to reconcile aggrieved party members ahead of the 2023 general elections. PDP chieftains such as Nyesom Wike are believed to be unhappy about the recent developments in the party. Recall that Wike lost the party's presidential ticket to Atiku and was also passed over for the vice presidential candidacy slots. Meanwhile, another eminent PDP stakeholder, Governor Samuel Otom of Benue State, has questioned the way Wike has been treated, saying he should have been properly consulted on the decision of Okowa as the party's vice presidential candidate. However, Atiku has vowed to reunite the party ahead of the elections. The Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, has named the Most Reverend Daniel Oko as its new president. The announcement is contained in a statement made available to journalists in Abuja by the CAN General Secretary, Joseph Daramola. Oko is the General Superintendent of Christ Holy Church, also called Nation Builders Odizo Obodo. Meanwhile, the umbrella Christian body in Nigeria, CAN, is scheduled to hold its General Assembly today, July 27, which will mark the end of the tenure of His Eminence Samson Olusopo Ayokunle and other members of the national executive in his team and usher in the new administration. The outgoing CAN president thanked all Nigerians for their support and prayers, which he said led to a successful tenure. In education, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has called for a bill to regulate how children of public office holders enroll in schools outside the shores of Nigeria. Professor Kingdom Tombra, chairman of the University of Niger Delta University, Wilberforce Island chapter of the union, made this known at the solidarity protest organized by the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) in Yenogwa, Bayelsa State. According to him, if the bill is passed into law, it will build a better society by developing formidable educational institutions and improve funding for the university system in Nigeria. Recall that the NLC has embarked on a 2-day nationwide protest in solidarity with ASU and other affiliate unions over the lingering industrial action in public universities in Nigeria. In the meantime, the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) has asked the federal government to brace for a 3-day nationwide strike across all sectors if the crisis in the nation's public universities is left unresolved. NLC President Ayuba Waba gave the warning amid the protest by members of the union across the country. The NLC president said the protest is to show NLC's concern and also call for urgent action to resolve the issues, adding that the next level, should the federal government continue its part, will be a 3-day national warning strike.
Levels of decision. First is the protest. which is going to be national. Okay. After the protest is 3 days national warning strike. If it fails, then we'll go perpetual. That is the decision of our National Executive Council. And therefore, I think what will even be very helpful is for them to look at the timeline that we have set for those issues to be sorted out. Already out of even 2 weeks they proposed, 1 week have gone. And I've not seen anything on the table to try to resolve the issue. We are optimistic that they should be willing this time around because we are also willing to get our children back to school.
Back here on more NLC-related news, the Akwa Ibom branch of the Nigerian Labour Congress NLC has said that enough is enough statement by the Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari should be matched with the actions of meeting ASU's demand so the union can permanently end the strike in the Nigerian university system and the Nigerian students can return to school. Speaking at the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly grounds where the members of affiliate labor unions converged to kickstart the 2 days nationwide protest announced by the national leadership of the NLC in solidarity with the striking ASU, NLC Chairman of Akwa Ibom State Branch, Sunday James, had this to say.
Comrades, we are here to tell the House of Assembly that our children cannot continue to be at home. That the Speaker should join the Forum and Council of Other Speakers in Nigeria to tell Mr. President to respect the word. Enough is
Comrades, please go and join us to put the pressure. Let whatever issue be resolved and let the schools reopen.
We are part of this necklace. Like I want to join you to tell the people at the central that enough is enough. Let our children go back to school.
Also speaking, a representative of the NLC president, Ayuba Waba, who converged his message, said the time has come for all people to unite and demand compliance from the federal government in order to reform the academic system. Reacting to the protesting unions, the Speaker of the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly, Anyekan Basi, who was represented by the Deputy Speaker, Felicia Basi, said the House will join its position with others in the interest of the people. Apologies, that insert will be brought to you in subsequent bulletins. Still on news from the home front, the Akwa Ibom Chief Judge of the Akwa Ibom, Justice Ekaite Obot, has committed human rights lawyer Inibege Efyong, Esquire, to the State's Correctional Center for 1 month over perceived contempt of court. Justice Obot, before ordering the conviction warrant, said the lawyers would need the correctional facility to purge himself of his excesses and unruly behaviors that tend to bring the court to disrepute. Reports say Efyong is the defense counsel to Leo Ekpenyong in the case of libel by Governor Udomi Manuel. We move to Africa now, where a new Tunisian constitution has been approved by 96.4% of participants in a referendum with 30.5% turnout. The head of the Independent High Electoral Commission announced on Tuesday, with reports also confirming that although most of Said's rivals had called for a boycott and the turnout was low, it was higher than the single figures many had expected. Monday's votes came a year to the day after the president sacked the government and suspended parliament in a dramatic blow to the only democracy to have emerged from the 2011 Arab Spring uprising. Elsewhere, French President Emmanuel Macron is on a business visit to Benin Republic following an invitation from his Beninese counterpart, Patrice Talon. After talks with Talon at the Marina Palace in Cotonou, Macron is expected to visit the exhibition of royal treasuries returned to Benin Republic by the French government last November. Reports say while in the country, Macron is expected to discuss ways to combat and increase in terrorism threats and to prevent it from spilling into countries in the Gulf of Guinea. Meanwhile, French opposition and majority of members of parliament, MPs, have urged the head of state to put pressure on President Patrice Talon on the issues of human rights during his trip to Cotonou today, 27 July. The parliamentarians denounced the repression orchestrated on political opponents, particularly the former Minister of Justice, Rekia Modugwa, and the constitutionalists Joel Avio, sentenced respectively to 20 and 10 years in prison. On news from the foreign scene, the U.S. Justice Department is examining Donald Trump's alleged involvement in efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 election. Federal prosecutors have reportedly asked witnesses directly about the actions of the former U.S. president. Reports say although a former criminal investigation into Trump's role is yet to be opened, Trump has publicly praised those who attacked the building but denies any personal wrongdoing. Recall that rioters stormed the U.S. Capitol on 6 January 2021 in an effort to overturn the president's election defeat. The Justice Department already has a criminal investigation into what happened on 6 January, and witnesses have been questioned about the incidents. Still on more news from the foreign scenes, where U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi's rumored plans for a trip to Taiwan has infuriated China and left the White House with a serious geopolitical headache, as China has warned of serious consequences if Pelosi proceeds with her visit. Report says the second in line to the presidency, Pelosi, would be the highest-ranking U.S. politician to travel to the island since 1997, adding that the move does not sit well with China, which sees self-ruled Taiwan as a breakaway province that must become a part of the country. Meanwhile, Beijing has not ruled out the possible use of force to achieve this. This comes amid increased tensions between Washington and Beijing ahead of a much-anticipated phone call between U.S. President Joe Biden and Chinese leader Xi Jinping. Still to come on our bulletin this afternoon, Nigerian Women Football League rejects Club Owners Association's unverified election. Do stay with us. Well, thanks for staying tuned. You're still watching Spectrum News on Spectrum Television. And now to more news from our business scenes, where the Naira fell significantly against the US dollar at the official market on Tuesday. a day after the current recorded a major gain at the spot market. According to data published on the FMDQ website, where Forex is officially traded, the Naira, which opened at 427 Naira 30 kobo, closed at 431 Naira to a dollar on Tuesday. This represents a 3 Naira 87 kobo or 0.90% devaluation from 427 Naira 17 kobo it exchanged in the previous session on Monday. Forex turnover at the market on Tuesday plummeted by 35.40% with $58.03 million posted at the close of the market against the $89.79 million recorded in the previous session on Monday. Reports say this is the weakest rate the currency has traded at the NAFEX window this year. Meanwhile, the International Monetary Fund (IMF) has retained projected economic growth of 3.4% for Nigeria in 2022. The Washington-based institution disclosed this in its World Economic Outlook (WEO) for July 2022. It explained that the outlook for countries in the Middle East and Central Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa, such as Nigeria, remains unchanged or positive due to evaluated fossil fuels and metal prices for some commodity exporting countries. IMF, however, projected that the global economy would slowly further to 3.2% in the year and 2.9% in 2023. According to the institution, this is due to global inflation, with the war in Ukraine, which has caused a widespread hardship, as well as an economic slowdown in China, which is a major global supply chain hub. In health, the Nigerian Center for Disease Control (NCDC) has said 162 Nigerians have died from Lassa fever since the beginning of the year 2022. The agency also stated that the number of new confirmed cases reduced from 13 in week 27 to 5 cases. The NCDC disclosed this in its weekly situation report on the outbreak of the disease in the country. Data from the latest situation report of week 28, which covered 11th of July to 17th of July 2022, revealed that there were 5,756 suspected cases of the infection across 99 local government areas in 24 states. And now to news from the sporting scenes, where world champion and record holder in the 100 meters women's hurdles, Toby Amusan, said once she considered quitting athletics after being left out of the women's relay team at the 2013 African Youth Games in Warri. The champion said her disappointment turned a blessing after some coaches advised her to switch to the less attractive hurdles events, which she went on to become the world champion after several attempts. The champion, who noted that the officials were always picking those who they wanted in the relay team, noted that she was told she did not have the experience. Still on more news from our sporting scenes, the Nigerian Women's Football League (NWFL) has expressed shock on the letter written by the Club Owners Association dated July 22 to inform the Secretary of the Nigerian Women's Football League on their purported elective meeting on July 21. In a letter signed by the NWF's chairman, operating officer, Modukpe Shabi, to the chairperson of Delta Queens Football Club of Asaba, responding to the letter on the introduction of new executive council members of the NWFL Club Owners Association, the NWFL referred the Club Owners Association to the process that produced the executive council that was duly elected in Enugu in 2020. The NWFL noted it monitored and supervised the elections, and the executive council from the Enugu elections is the one the NWFL recognizes until the due process of conducting a proper election is followed and the NWFL notified to monitor the process. On our entertainment scenes, the search for the next Afrobeat superstar began on Friday as Startimes, in partnership with Kenny's Music, kicked off the physical auditions for the Nigerian Star Search Season 1. The talent hunt show, which focuses solely on Afrobeats, has music label executive Kenny, Keke Ogungbe, ID Kabasa, and Inyanya as judges. Ogungbe said the audition judges would also be looking out for authenticity, potential, originality, and street credibility amongst the talents who would finally be selected for the show. He added that about 10 finalists from the show would be groomed by Kenny's music label and given a platform to turn their raw talents into superstars. Still on entertainment, the Headies Academy has announced the withdrawal of 2 nominations awarded to rising Afrobeats act Portable. The announcement was made on Tuesday, 26 July 2022, via the Headies social media platforms. The Headies Academy's decision was necessitated by Portable's recent running of the law, where he claimed he is the founder of the deadly 1 Million Boys gang, which terrorized Lagos citizens during the lockdown. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to subscribe to our YouTube channels and follow us on social media, all of which you can find on our website at spectrumtv.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 2. I am Beto Brian, thanking you for watching. Do have a nice day.